Hi guys, how are you doing? Senior Gaming here, and in today's episode I'm bringing you Marriage Girls and we're gonna talk potential. So if you're Marriage Girls player or perhaps idle gamer, then make sure you subscribe to the channel as I post as often as possible and bring you best tips and advice. And if you enjoyed the video, then make sure you like it. This way we actually bring in more new players to the channel, so thank you very much for that. Alright then. So first of all, we're gonna talk obviously what is the potential in the first place. And I'm not talking here about your ability to get all the desired characters you want, or your potential of grinding 48 hours without sleep. That's not the one I want to address today. I'm talking here about simple system of additional boosts to our stats in form of pretty much passive bonuses. And potential can actually be found at the characters menu. So we're gonna head over obviously to our character menu, which is the first one, and you just want to tap on any character you want to look into potential. So if I tap on Isis, as you see I've got 4 different tabs to choose from, and the one we're discussing today is potential, which is a 4th tab. Bear in mind, this option is only unlocked when your character reaches 5 stars. Okay. So now, as you see, we're talking here about all these additional stats, which are now basically a passive additions. So you can roll 3 stats at once, and results are always random. And the way to roll it, you're gonna hit that reset button. And every single time you roll the stat, you can always see its maximum potential. Like in this particular case, there is a maximum of 40%, and I have just landed. And this also, it's been highlighted with this yellow color. And if you're happy with the output, you can then just lock this option and then start rolling the remaining 2. Obviously, what you need to pay attention, now the consumption has increased. And if I would land another 40% on the second slot, I would lock it, and then it would cost me 40 to try to draw a third perfect option. So obviously this is something you need to bear in mind. When it comes to actually these stats that you see in front of you, they got obviously a maximum value, but they wouldn't have that maximum value the moment you unlock the potential. And the reason for it, that actually potential got a few different tiers. So you're gonna start with a rare tier, which then can be upgraded into epic tier. Then epic tier can be upgraded into unique, and this is where I currently sit with Isis. Bear in mind, every single character will have to roll its own potential, it's not overall. And then finally, this unique can be upgraded into legend. And the way you're gonna see how to do it, you're gonna just tap on this exclamation mark and see your grade up chance. And the quickest way to get there is just basically just keep resetting that until you land onto next tier. So sometimes it is pretty painful. Let's say if you are on epic tier, you're aiming for attack, you have landed 3 perfect attacks with a value of 30%, but you want to hit that unique. So you got to reset all of them to get into unique to then be at max of 40%. But now at some point I know I'll have to reset all of them to get to that legend, and a legend will actually have a perfect score of 50%. So your aim will be always to get to a top tier and only then try to look for this desired stat. Obviously, in order to reset, aka roll, you will have to have some resource, and we're talking here about these special crystals. These crystals though can be actually farmed in a world raids every single day. So obviously you're gonna head over to a main menu. And from here, obviously, we're gonna go to world, and here you've got that world raid that you can come and grind every single day. Obviously, we need to bear in mind there is different monsters you'll be facing every single day and a different rewards. So today we've got actually a crystals for attackers, and obviously you have different crystals for tanks, support, etc. And I highly recommend that you will go and challenge extra tries. I think you can do it twice a day and it will cost you 100 gems. I highly recommend you go ahead and buy these extra 2 tries, because this way you're just gonna farm your crystals quicker and therefore able to land this legend potential. Okay, so let's just go back to Isis and its potential. Okay, so now what I want to as well address that you actually got 10 different stats to start with, which then increases all the way to 18 on that top tier of legendary, and I'll display them on the screen in just a second. So obviously what you need to consider here, that as well you'll be able to consume these crystals, and if you run out, there is actually additional resource in place. And this resource, it's called Almighty Crystal. Almighty Crystals then can be farmed in a Twin Tower, or you can get them from events, you know, coupon codes, etc. So the moment you feel you're running out load on this resource, all you need to do is just tap on this plus icon here, and there you go, this Almighty Crystal. So you can just exchange them one by one, and bear in mind this crystal can be exchanged in any crystal. So as mentioned, it can be tank, it can be support, any characters you particularly upgrading at the time, you can use this Almighty Crystal to exchange it. Alright then, so now when it finally comes to a stats that you should be rolling, because every single class of characters will have obviously different stats. So let me just display what maximum stats you're gonna have on all first 3 tiers. So we're talking here rare into epic into unique, and I also will display what bonuses, and that's total of 18 you've got when it comes to legend. So now, obviously when it comes to a damage dealers, like for example Isis, you see on the screen, you want to go with pretty much attack as much as you can. So that's what I'm aiming with. I have just stopped now because I'm trying to obviously invest crystals into other characters, but I'm pretty happy with 75% attack for this particular moment. So you want to aim with attack all the way up to legend. But once you got legend, you want to go with this precious critical rate. You know, the critical rate will be the most precious stats. You want to land as many crits for damage output as possible. The only exceptions here will be Krona, obviously. So where I do got her. So the Krona is just in here. So obviously Krona doesn't fully rely on a pure damage as such. So you want to aim for that 7% attack speed on legend, on legendary one, as obviously she needs to cast her skill. So her main damage comes from that bleed skill. So you want to land that as much as possible. And then when it comes to support, so for example we go here Ellie. You want to aim here with obviously like heal amount, give and attack. And the reason for it, obviously, you know, you'll have certain support classes which will be a great healers, but you might have a support class such as Heida, which is also a great damage dealer. So you want to obviously roll in between the two. But again, this is all the way until you reach a legend, and then you want to go for this precious attack speed. The more attack speed basically means you're gonna hit your enemies more often, and the more you hit, the quicker you regenerate your mana, meaning obviously you're gonna cast more skills. Okay, and lastly, when it comes to tanks, so let me just get one of the tanks. So I'm currently using Veronica, which is not the end game model, but currently this is where I have landed the best character coins. But when it comes to tanks, you want to go with this additional HP wherever you can. And obviously a physical defense, I believe it's also not too bad. But when it comes to these legend options, again, you either go fully on that additional HP, apart from Aisha and Null, where again you want for them to cast their unique skills as often as possible. Therefore you go for attack speed. But that pretty much should be it. Obviously, as you see, having only 10 options, you will be aiming for something to boost you temporarily. End of the day, you will be aiming to get that legendary status, and you will be rolling the existing stats you have. So until you reach that top tier, this is only a temporary solution. Therefore, you want to go for as many attack as possible with attackers, you know, heal, give and attack pretty much with supporters, and this extra survivability when it comes to tanks. Alright then guys, that will be it. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed it, then make sure you subscribe and like it, and as always, I'll see you next time.